When a woman distances herself from you and ignores you, just do this: psychology tricks. Let there be spaces in your togetherness. Khalil Gibran. Here's what throws so many men off. A woman who once lit up at your messages, laughed at your stories, and met you halfway suddenly goes cool. The warmth fades, replies slow, calls go unanswered. That sharp turn from engaged to indifferent can send even steady men into a spiral of second-guessing. What changed? Did you miss a sign? And most important, what should you do now? You'll hear extreme advice everywhere. Some insist you should chase harder. Others tell you to cut her off and never look back. The reality is wiser and lives between those poles. This isn't about playing games, flexing ego, or being manipulative. It's about understanding the psychology behind withdrawal and responding with composure and self-respect. When feelings surge, clear thinking often disappears, and that's when most men make avoidable mistakes. We're going to unpack what distance and silence often signal, the common reasons a woman might pull back, and how a man can carry himself without begging for attention or pretending not to care. This isn't only about getting her back. It's about reclaiming your steadiness, your standards, and your leadership over your own emotions. How you handle this moment reshapes how she perceives you for the long haul. You have two paths: chase and leak dignity, or hold your frame and give her something to reconsider. By the end, you'll understand why some women withdraw, what her behavior may actually mean, and the smartest, most disciplined move to make when it happens. This is where emotion meets wisdom. Ready? Let's begin. 1. The sudden distance. When a woman starts to distance herself and ignore you, it's never as clear-cut as it seems. At first, it's almost imperceptible. Her responses take a bit longer. The enthusiasm in her voice wanes, and she suddenly becomes too busy, too tired, or just not in the mood. You convince yourself it's nothing. Maybe she's had a rough day, perhaps her work's piling up, or she simply needs some space. But as time goes on, that silence starts to settle in, and that's when you feel it: the shift, the coldness, and the absence of the connection you once had. It hits you hard. Something has changed. This is where most men make their fatal mistake. They begin to spiral. Every little detail is analyzed, every interaction examined. The confusion and anxiety grow, and with it, the urge to fix things immediately. They start sending texts, calling too much, apologizing profusely, or going overboard with gestures to win her attention back. But here's the truth: this is exactly the wrong move. If you give in to that panic, you're playing right into her hands. Women, especially when they're pulling back, are testing your emotional stability. What she's looking for is not your desperation, but your composure. The more desperate you become, the more she sees your emotional dependence on her validation. And that, my friend, is a major turnoff. The psychological truth here is simple but profound. A woman doesn't distance herself for no reason. It's not about you. It's about you in relation to her. She could be emotionally disconnected. She could be losing attraction. Or it could be a test of your emotional strength and stability. You may also be dealing with her personal issues that have nothing to do with you, but they're affecting her ability to connect with you. That's where psychology tricks come into play. If you react impulsively, you will only reinforce the emotional imbalance. Her withdrawal isn't just about her stepping back. It's a reflection of your emotional investment and, likely, your overdependence on her attention. Instead of getting caught up in your emotions and chasing her, it's time to shift gears. This is a crucial moment to reflect, to observe rather than react. What caused this distance? Were you too predictable, too available, or too emotionally invested too quickly? In female psychology, a woman's withdrawal is often a sign that she needs to reset the dynamic. It might be subconscious, but this distance could be her way of reassessing what she truly wants and whether you're emotionally secure enough to stand on your own without her constant reassurance. The worst thing you can do in this situation is chase her. The best thing you can do is breathe, stay calm, and hold your ground. This isn't about ignoring her or pretending you don't care. It's about showing her that you can handle your own emotions and have the self-respect to not beg for her attention. This doesn't just preserve your dignity, it makes her start to wonder if she's about to lose someone who is emotionally stable and self-sufficient. And trust me, when a woman starts to wonder whether she wants to lose you, the dynamic begins to shift in your favor. Here's the kicker: patience is power. When you stop chasing and allow silence to fill the space between you, it will speak louder than any words you could say. That quiet strength will catch her attention in a way that frantic, desperate moves never will. But here's the challenge: this test isn't about her. It's about you. This moment of withdrawal is the perfect opportunity to build your confidence, not lose it. When you let go of the panic and just breathe, when you let patience guide your actions, you stand tall. You stand firm in your own worth. What you might not realize in the chaos of your emotions is that this moment is a reflection of your own strength, not your weakness. Her distance is less about her and more about how you handle it. If you remain calm and composed, you build your confidence and gain control over the situation. The best men never master this until they've faced it. But if you master the art of maintaining your ground, you'll be miles ahead. Ultimately, you have to realize this: the sudden distance, that emotional withdrawal, is not your defeat, it's your opportunity. In that moment, you can either crumble and lose yourself, or you can rise, reflect, and build your emotional resilience. If you choose the latter, she will start to see the kind of man who is worth pursuing, not chasing. So next time she pulls away, don't run after her. Stand still, breathe, and become the strong, emotionally secure man she might just fall in love with. This is the power of female psychology, and mastering it could just be the trick to understanding how to make her fall in love again. 2. What her silence really means. Silence can be louder than words, especially when it comes from a woman who once couldn't stop talking to you. When a woman pulls away and goes silent, it can feel like a punch to the gut. It feels personal. You start to wonder if you've said something wrong or if she's found someone else. You replay every conversation, overanalyzing every word, searching for a clue. But here's the hard truth: when a woman becomes distant and silent, it's not always a punishment. Sometimes, her silence speaks volumes about something much deeper than just her mood. In fact, her silence is a message. If you listen carefully, you'll hear exactly what she's trying to communicate. High-value men know this. They don't panic when the silence hits. They don't rush to fill the void with insecurity or desperate words. Instead, they stand tall, confident in their masculine energy, knowing that silence isn't a rejection, it's a moment of clarity. Her silence is a test of your emotional depth. When a woman distances herself, she's not playing a game, she's testing you. Testing your emotional maturity, your ability to handle discomfort, and most importantly, your masculine energy. She's watching to see if you crumble or if you stay steady. Can you remain grounded when things are uncertain? Can you keep your cool when she's silent? She's not looking for a man who falls apart when emotions get tense. She's looking for a man who can stand strong even when the emotional waters are turbulent. She wants to see if you're the kind of man who can handle discomfort without losing your composure. So, don't panic. Don't chase her silence with a flood of messages or endless questions. Be the high-value man who knows how to stay calm, confident, and collected. Silence can be a reflection of her own needs. But sometimes, her silence isn't about you at all. It's a reflection of what's happening in her own mind. She might be feeling overwhelmed by her own emotions, or grappling with stress, doubt, or confusion about her feelings toward you. This doesn't mean she's lost interest. It means she's working through her own internal world. Women are complex creatures, and their emotional landscapes can be intricate. Attract women by understanding that her quiet moments aren't always a sign of disinterest. They're often a sign that she's trying to figure things out. When a woman goes quiet, it could be because she's protecting her emotions, giving herself time to understand what she truly wants. Why a response matters more than you think. Here's where men often go wrong. They assume her silence is a problem that needs fixing. They rush in with a million questions, trying to fill the silence with their own nervous chatter. But this is a grave mistake. Women are not puzzles to be solved. They're complex individuals to be understood. Her silence doesn't need to be filled. What it needs is patience, confidence, and space. Be the high-value man who knows that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. By reacting from insecurity, you risk pushing her further away. Don't let your panic take over. Instead, allow her the room to process her feelings, to miss your energy. When you resist the urge to demand answers, you create a space where she feels safe enough to come back to you on her own terms. Silence as a tool for connection, not disconnection. If you interpret her silence as rejection, you'll respond with insecurity, and that's when things start to unravel. But if you approach her silence with patience, understanding, and the confidence of a high-value man, you'll create an environment where she feels comfortable to express herself freely. Instead of closing off, she'll open up. The key to understanding her silence is realizing that it's not the end. It's the beginning. It's an opportunity to show your emotional strength, to demonstrate your ability to stay centered in the face of uncertainty. The most important thing you can do is don't panic. Be calm, be steady, and above all, be patient. A woman will never respect a man who falls apart when things get tough, but she will respect and admire a man who stays composed, who remains confident in his worth, and who knows how to handle a little silence with grace. When you master her silence, you master yourself. Her silence is a reflection of her inner world, and if you can understand that, you've unlocked a powerful connection. You don't need to fix her silence. You need to honor it. Be the high-value man who understands that sometimes silence isn't a call for help. It's a call for space to grow, reflect, and understand. When you respect her silence, you show her that you understand her on a deeper level. You show her that you're emotionally intelligent enough to give her the room she needs to think and come back stronger. In the end, the men who truly attract women, the ones who earn her respect, are those who don't react impulsively to her silence. Instead, they respond with a calm and confident presence, standing firm in their masculine energy. They don't chase her when she pulls away. They give her the space she needs, trusting that when the time is right, she will return. And when she does, it will be with even more respect, admiration, and desire than before. So, don't overthink her silence. Don't assume it's the end of the relationship. Instead, embrace it as an opportunity to demonstrate your emotional strength. Your ability to stay grounded, even in the face of silence, will make her respect you more. Be the high-value man she wants in her life. The man who can withstand the quiet moments without breaking. 3. Your first reaction matters. When a woman starts to distance herself from you, it's tempting to react immediately. Your instincts will scream for action, to call, text, show up, or somehow fix the situation. This is where most men go wrong. The moment she pulls away, you may feel a rush of anxiety, confusion, and urgency. But the real power lies in what you do next. Remember, your first reaction sets the tone for everything that follows. React out of fear, and you lose control. React with composure, and you take command of the situation. The mistake most men make when faced with distance is to chase validation. They bombard her with texts, calls, or emotional messages, thinking that persistence shows they care. In reality, it communicates desperation. Chasing someone who's pulling away is a sign of weakness, not strength. It reinforces her belief that she has control over your emotions and can manipulate you with silence. This is not the way of a man who has mastered himself. It's the way of someone trapped by their own emotions. Another common mistake is playing emotional games, pretending not to care, posting things to grab her attention, or trying to make her jealous. This strategy might seem clever at first, but it only breeds resentment and insecurity. A woman sees right through these tactics. They make you appear immature and emotionally unstable, not to mention unattractive. The silent treatment is yet another blunder. If you mirror her distance with coldness, you're not showing strength, but pride in disguise. It's a defensive mechanism, building walls instead of bridges, and that only leads to more isolation. But there is a better way. When she pulls away, your first reaction should be to pause. You must stop, breathe, and assess. This moment of stillness is where the real power lies. You cannot solve a problem when you're emotionally flooded. Take a step back, calm your mind, and ask yourself, what's really going on here? Did you do something wrong, or is she simply overwhelmed by personal matters? The goal is not to fix her behavior, but to understand your position. Once you've centered yourself, respond calmly, clearly, and confidently. A simple message like, "I've noticed you seem distant lately. If you need space, I respect that. I'll be here when you're ready to talk," speaks volumes. It shows maturity, emotional intelligence, and restraint. You're not chasing her, but offering her the space she needs. That message sets you apart from the crowd. Stick to your word. Don't hover or check in repeatedly. The silence that follows is your test, not hers. The way you respond to distance reveals your emotional strength. It's not about being passive. It's about being emotionally intelligent. You don't respond to distance with panic. You respond with patience. You don't demand attention. You command respect through composure. That is the difference between a boy reacting to rejection and a man responding to reality. When you master that emotional composure, her silence no longer holds power over you. In fact, this is when she'll start to notice you again. Nothing unsettles someone more than realizing they can't disturb your peace. This is the power of the Old Stoic wisdom, understanding that what happens around you doesn't control you, but how you respond does. Stoicism teaches that our responses should be grounded in self-mastery, not emotional outbursts. "He who is brave is free," said Seneca, reminding us that true strength lies in emotional control. That's the Stoic way. An iron mind doesn't break under pressure. It remains unshaken, no matter the circumstances. When you respond with composure, you demonstrate your ability to handle life's challenges with grace. This is the essence of Stoicism, to find victory in the face of adversity. It's time to embrace that mindset, to embody the iron mind that is unfazed by emotional turbulence. Your calm will be your victory. By mastering yourself, you will always come out ahead. If you found this valuable, hit that like button, comment below, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Don't forget to subscribe for more mindset and relationship psychology that makes you stronger every day. Brain comment to remember: I respond with patience and composure. 4. Stop chasing, start thinking. There comes a moment when you must stop chasing and start thinking. When a woman pulls away, your gut instinct may tell you to fight for her attention, prove your worth, and remind her of the connection you once shared. But here's the hard truth many men miss until it's too late. The more you chase, the less attractive you become. Every time you run after her, you push her further away. The secret to real power is not in the pursuit. It's in your presence. This is the moment you have the chance to transform from being emotionally reactive to mentally strong. When she distances herself, it's not the end of your story. It's the start of your awakening. Life is testing you, your composure, your sense of self-worth, and your discipline. Will you crumble, or will you rise? Most men let emotions cloud their judgment, trying to fix something that isn't theirs to fix. But a man who is grounded, who understands his worth, knows that no one's absence should shake his peace. The ability to remain calm, to stay still when everything around you is shifting, that's real strength. That's what earns respect. You must understand this. Attraction isn't maintained by words. It's sustained by energy. When you chase, you project neediness. But when you stay composed, you radiate confidence. Women are naturally drawn to the man who's secure in himself, not the one begging for attention. Instead of asking, "How can I get her to talk to me again?" ask yourself, "Why do I feel the need to?" This simple shift in perspective changes everything. It takes you from emotional dependence to self-awareness. By shifting your focus, you reclaim control, not over her, but over yourself. Use her silence as a chance to grow. Hit the gym, focus on your goals, and reconnect with your sense of purpose. Build the kind of life where her distance doesn't affect you. Here's the irony. When you stop chasing and start investing in yourself, she'll notice. The silence that once felt unbearable becomes the space where you rebuild your power. And trust me, when she sees you unaffected by her withdrawal, thriving, focused, and at peace, she'll start questioning her decision. That's not manipulation, that's magnetism. Real power isn't loud, it's silent, steady, and undeniable. Think of her pulling away not as a loss, but as a redirection. You were never meant to beg for anyone's presence. Your goal should be to become so centered and so confident that anyone who steps away either comes back stronger or stays gone, and either way, you win. This isn't about playing games. It's about reclaiming your emotional balance. A man who can stay calm amidst uncertainty becomes unstoppable, not just in love, but in life. The key is this: stop chasing what's running from you. Stand still, breathe, and let your peace speak louder than your actions. Because real power isn't about force, it's about how you control your own energy. This isn't just a trick for love, it's a psychology trick for life. The more you embrace female psychology, understanding that your worth is independent of anyone else's approval, the more you'll be able to attract genuine love. Learn to center yourself, stay grounded, and allow the world to come to you. When you do, you'll understand exactly how to fall in love with yourself first, attracting not just her, but everything you've ever wanted. 5. Reclaim your presence. Let's face it, when a woman distances herself from you and starts ignoring you, it can feel like the ground beneath you is shifting. But here's the truth: distance doesn't destroy attraction, weakness does. A high-value man knows this instinctively. He doesn't chase after what pulls away. Instead, he reclaims his presence in a way that commands respect. It's about strength, not desperation. When you stand tall in the face of uncertainty, your mere presence becomes a force. It forces both her and yourself to remember your value. Ask yourself this: when was the last time you truly valued your own presence? Too many men get so fixated on how a woman feels about them that they forget how they feel about themselves. They start tying their self-worth to her attention. The moment she pulls away, they crumble. Don't be that man. Imagine this instead: you become so secure in yourself, so solid in your masculine energy, that her distance doesn't cause you to shrink, it sharpens you. That's where true power lies. It's the power to remain unshaken when others would falter. You're the prize, not the beggar. Reclaiming your presence is about remembering who you are. You are not begging for love. A high-value man never has to beg. Instead, he brings value to the table, consistency, energy, and purpose. When she pulls away, your response isn't to chase her back. It's to let her feel the impact of your absence. It's about making her feel the void you leave behind. Because here's the hard truth that most men overlook: silence can be your loudest message. When you stop reaching out, stop trying to force things, your stillness speaks volumes. It says, "I know my worth, and I won't negotiate it." That calm confidence makes her reconsider. She starts to wonder if she misjudged you. She replays moments in her mind where she might have taken you for granted. Don't be afraid to let her feel that. When you stand firm in your self-worth, you become a mystery. The more grounded and intentional you are, the more curious she becomes. Emotional control, the ultimate power move. Reclaiming your presence is not about manipulating her or forcing her to see your value. It's about influence, and influence is all about emotional control. A man who doesn't chase, who isn't rattled by the absence of attention, shows something rare. He shows emotional strength. He's a man who doesn't beg for validation. He simply is. Think about it. When you stop reacting to her distance, you send a message that says, "I'm fine without you. I'm not going to change myself to gain your attention." This is a powerful move that shows her just how hard to replace you are. She might not even realize it immediately, but her curiosity will start to grow. She'll check your social media, replay your past conversations, and begin to miss what she thought she could live without. Your silence, your absence, becomes the most persuasive thing you could ever say. You don't have to beg for her attention, you make her crave it. That's the magnetic power of emotional control. Elevate yourself. Become the man who commands attention. So, how do you practically reclaim your presence when a woman pulls away? The answer is simple: focus on elevation. You don't need to chase her down or plead for her affection. Instead, redirect your energy to your purpose, your growth, and your physical and mental discipline. Every time you feel the urge to reach out, use that urge as motivation to become better. Remember, the man who thrives without attention becomes impossible to ignore. When you stop waiting for her attention and start living a life that demands attention, you shift the entire dynamic. You become the man who commands respect effortlessly, and that's a man every woman wants to be around. The truth is, a high value man doesn't have to prove his worth to anyone. He embodies his worth in everything he does. His energy is so magnetic that others can't help but take notice. That's how you reclaim your presence, not by begging, but by living better. Be the man who radiates power, purpose, and passion, and she will see you for exactly what you are, the prize. The final takeaway: commanding presence. When she distances herself and starts ignoring you, don't panic. The best thing you can do isn't chase her back or beg for her attention. Reclaim your presence by focusing on yourself, elevating your life, and standing firm in your self-worth. This isn't just about attracting women, it's about embracing your masculine energy in a way that makes others, especially her, take notice. Become the man who doesn't need anyone's validation, but instead commands respect effortlessly. When you live like this, women won't be able to resist the magnetic pull of your confidence and strength. So, next time she pulls away, remember, you're the prize and the world will notice. If you've made it this far, you already understand something most never do, that silence and self-control speak louder than chasing. Comment below, I choose strength over desperation. Because the moment you reclaim your presence, you stop needing validation and start commanding respect. 6. The power of emotional control. When a woman distances herself or ignores you, it's easy to feel your emotions spiral out of control. The instinct is to chase, to react, to plead for attention. But let me tell you this, reacting in such a way is the surest path to losing your power. To be a true man, you must cultivate emotional control. It's not about suppressing your feelings, it's about mastering your response to those feelings. This is the essence of Stoicism, maintaining composure when everything around you is chaotic. The great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. You cannot control her actions, but you can control your own. Here's the truth. Emotional control is the bedrock of masculinity. When you find yourself ignored or distanced from, your emotions will scream at you to react impulsively. Your ego will take a hit, your pride wounded, and your mind will race to fix the situation. But the iron mind, the stoicism of true masculinity, stands firm in these moments. It is about creating space between what happens and how you respond. That space is where your strength lies. This is where logic replaces panic, clarity replaces confusion, and your true power shines through. Emotional control doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care without losing yourself. In today's world, people are drawn to those who exude stability. When a man can stay calm under pressure, he becomes a magnet for respect. Think about it. When her silence shakes you to your core, what does that say about your internal foundation? But when you remain composed, something changes in her. She sees your emotional maturity, your strength, your ability to stay grounded. This is what separates you from the men who panic, beg, or play games. The key here is awareness. Begin by observing your emotions. Recognize the triggers that set off your reactions when you feel ignored or rejected. This isn't about avoiding emotions. It's about understanding them and controlling how you let them influence your actions. The next time she doesn't respond to your text, don't rush to double text. Don't rush to explain yourself. Instead, take a moment. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now and why? This pause, this moment of reflection, is what cultivates true emotional control. It rewires your brain, reprogramming you to respond with clarity instead of emotion. Over time, this practice becomes a habit, and habits define character. Do not make everything personal. Her distance may have nothing to do with you. Maybe she's dealing with her own stresses, her own emotions, or her own battles. When you take everything personally, you lose perspective. But when you detach from the need to control her reactions, you free yourself. That freedom becomes magnetic. You stop reacting and start leading. You become the man who remains steady in the face of uncertainty. And that, my friend, is the kind of man women respect. It's a hard truth, but it's one that most men don't understand. Attraction is not built on chemistry alone. It's built on respect. And respect is earned through emotional control. The man who controls his emotions commands attention, not by force, but through calm, confidence, and clarity. His silence isn't awkward, it's powerful. His restraint isn't weakness, it's influence. This is the kind of emotional control that doesn't just win you back her attention, it transforms every area of your life. The more you master yourself, the less outside chaos can affect you. You grow from a boy who reacts to rejection into a man who defines his own peace. And let's be clear about something. This is not about avoiding conflict. This is about approaching life with the wisdom of old Stoic teachings. It's about being unshakable. The impediment to action advances action, said the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. The obstacles that life throws at you are the very things that make you stronger. The man who has control over his emotions, who can remain steady in the face of adversity, will always come out on top. So remember this. Emotional control is your weapon. It's how you rise above the noise, how you master your own life. And every time she pulls away, every time you feel ignored, you have a choice. You can react or you can rise. Choose wisely and watch as your life begins to shift. When you master emotional control, you win not just in relationships, but in life itself. 7. Make her rethink everything. When a woman distances herself from you and begins to ignore you, it's easy to feel like you need to chase after her, to try and win her attention back with messages or calls. But here's the truth, that's not the answer. Instead, you must embrace the power of silence and strength. The moment you stop reacting to her distance, you break the cycle. Women are used to men scrambling for their attention, responding with, "Why are you ignoring me?" or "Did I do something wrong?" But when you don't give her that reaction, the whole dynamic shifts. You don't chase her, you don't crumble under pressure. Instead, you focus on yourself and your own purpose. This calm, quiet confidence becomes magnetic. It's not a trick. It's a psychology trick that comes from emotional discipline and the refusal to be shaken. Women are wired to seek stability, and when they see you maintaining your composure, they begin to wonder what happened. Why didn't you react the way other men would? Suddenly, her curiosity turns into confusion, and confusion turns into attraction. It's a powerful shift, and it's all about how you respond to her silence. Think about it. In that silence, she's replaying your past interactions in her mind. She's questioning whether she misjudged your value, whether she overlooked something important. And while she's doing that, you're building yourself up. You're evolving. You've taken that moment of silence to refocus, to re-energize yourself, and to grow stronger, both mentally and emotionally. This isn't about playing games or using manipulation. This is about strengthening your emotional resilience. When you stand firm and stay true to yourself, you naturally become more attractive, not just to her, but to everyone around you. People are drawn to strength, to calmness under pressure, and to those who radiate confidence without saying a word. What's even more fascinating is how, during this time, she begins to feel your absence. She starts to realize that while she's been distancing herself, you've been thriving, not just existing. She'll remember the way you made her feel secure, how you were always steady, never raising your voice or losing control. You didn't chase her when she pulled away. You focused on your own life and purpose, which made you even more magnetic. And when you stop needing her to complete you, that's when the real shift happens. She begins to question what she walked away from, not just a man, but the peace, stability, and strength you provided. She realizes that you were the one constant in her life, and now that she's stepped back, she misses it. Now, don't mistake this for a mind game. This is about rewriting the story she told herself about you. She thought you'd fall apart when she ignored you, but instead, you leveled up. Every day you spent growing, every day you didn't chase her, was a reminder that you didn't need her to validate you. And this is where the true psychology of female psychology comes into play. Women always fear losing something of value. The more she sees you thriving and building your life without her, the more she begins to crave your attention again. And when she does, that's when you regain control of the narrative. Let her rethink everything. Let her sit in the silence she created while you rise. The greatest form of revenge isn't proving her wrong. It's becoming so complete and so confident that she can't forget you. This is the power that doesn't fade. This is the type of man you were always meant to be. So, when a woman pulls away, don't chase her. Instead, rise above, breathe, refocus, and continue building your life. Let your peace speak louder than your words. In doing so, you'll not only attract her back, but also become the type of man that demands respect from everyone. This is the ultimate power that never fades. And remember, this is not just about winning her back. It's about evolving into the best version of yourself, a version that any woman would want, but one that no one can take for granted. This is how you make her rethink everything, and this is the power that comes from mastering female psychology and the art of emotional discipline. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you found these tips helpful. Listen, I know relationships can be complicated, and when someone distances themselves or ignores you, it can feel like a big puzzle. But remember, this is just a small piece of the bigger picture. If you're truly committed to mastering the dating game and building real confidence in your relationships, don't let this moment pass by. That's where the real transformation begins. Take care and don't forget to take action. The change starts with you.